Sounds good. Sounds good. So look, we are almost at the 30-minute mark already. So let's jump into the charts. I want to give us enough time to look at both Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think it adds a lot of value. So yeah, if you're just tuning into the show now, this is the part of the show where we do our Crypto Like a Pro trade setup of the week with Mr. Andy Demi. So are you going to do Bitcoin, live analysis, or Ethereum first?
Let's look at Bitcoin, guys, because I want to bring this chart up now, which is we're at an important point. So let me just start with Bitcoin. We'll have a little look at this chart first, just to remind you of what we had. For those that have been tuning into the show regularly, you'll probably remember this chart that I drew in a while ago. And specifically, we projected, using these market angles here, we projected basically that Bitcoin, using these high points, would find resistance on these lines here. And this is, and at the time I said, and I'm saying it now again, this is a critical point now. For me, this is where we are looking to either break or pull back. And so if you're not in Bitcoin, I think I mentioned this. So yesterday, I think Andrew posted something, whether it was a good time to sell. And I just want to kind of clarify something on that as well. That's important. And maybe I didn't specifically mention. When I spoke about this level here between 50 and 52,000, because I didn't know how quickly we'd get to these lines. So I said, between 50 and 52 and a half. So if we just draw some horizontal levels here at old support, these are going to be natural resistance points that Bitcoin's got to kind of overcome. But what I'm looking for really is I'm looking for this to push through. It will probably find, so even if it kind of gets up here, most likely it will find some resistance here, which would be around that sort of 52, 53 mark, 53 probably. And then I'd love to see a pullback either here or here. This would be even better. A pullback back onto this line, and then would be so almost like a testing, like flowing back through 50. If it happens that way, to scare people, oh man, we're going back through 50, and then eventually, and then it goes. That's kind of something that could happen that I'm waiting for. The tricky thing is that I posted it in the group. I took a really great trade. I bought 44,000, and as a trade, I've got this in my long-term portfolio anyway. And we're now here. Now at this level, it's tricky to buy because you're at resistance. So in my opinion, you're better to wait for either a pullback or we break through these levels. So we break through at least through this line and we close above it. And if we find resistance here, great. If we don't and we're up here, at this point, pullbacks are buyable. I would, any pullback, I'd be using the lower time frames and I'd be buying all the way up. I think that if we can if you see Bitcoin closing above this green line, if you see Bitcoin here, I would say, even if you're seeing a pullback, for me, that is a sign that we are going to break these highs. We're ready to break these highs. So you'd be looking at any pullbacks to basically buy. And I'd be expecting something along those lines. At this level here, somebody asked, is it a good idea to sell it then? And I kind of said, look, it's not a bad idea to sell it, but I'm not selling it. And the reason I'm not selling it is because there's a couple of things. So when we say selling, by the way, we're referring to short selling. So in other words, taking a trade and making a prediction that the market's going to go down and making money on the way down. And I've kind of said, look, at this level, even though I've spoken about the importance of this level, I'm not going to be shorting this right now. I'm going to be looking, if the market does pull back, I'm going to be looking to buy it. I'm not looking to sell it. So if we have a big drop, which is possible, because as I said, we are at resistance. And let's say for some reason, something comes out, gets tweeted, and we have a massive drop. You'd be looking at this 50 EMA right around here. You can see how well this 50 EMA generally holds Bitcoin when it is trending up. This would be a gift of a price to buy this. So if it goes down to that level, great. I'm happy, but I'm not going to be short selling this right now because there is a lot of bullish sentiment right now. And I'm not convinced that we are not going to break this in one swoop. So, and I just don't have a strong enough reason right now to short sell it. But I am open to the idea of it going down and giving us a great buy area, scaring a few people off, but we'll be prepared and we can look for the nice old high 50 EMA that would come in around that 42K mark, and we could pick that up. Thank you very much. And I would add that into my long-term portfolio. So that's kind of my thinking there on Bitcoin. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to share with you right now.
So just while Andy's doing that, if you're looking at this going, crikey, this sounds exciting, I wish I could learn more. If you want to get into Andy's brain more, we're doing a webinar tomorrow night, 8 p.m. BST. You've got to register on Zoom, so check out your emails for the link to register. And Andy will be explaining how he took 30 grand up to 180 grand, which is 6xing. I know it's a lot more now, which he'll explain tomorrow in the webinar. For anybody that's interested about learning Andy's entire toolkit, he gives everything out. And there's a whole bunch of information for free just for attending the webinar. And obviously then if it's in front of you to join the program, we've got a lot of success stories, then that's something which we can discuss with you tomorrow. This isn't a sales pitch or a sales webinar. It's just to let you know, if you think now's the time for you, you're new to crypto, you want to learn things on a bit more of a professional level, and do things like what Andy does, then this is the opportunity for you. So just keep an eye out on your emails. I'll post the link in this Facebook chat as well after the show. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow if you feel like it's in front of you to learn some more. So is there anything else you want to talk about on Bitcoin before we jump over to do some live analysis on Ethereum?
No, I think that the only thing that I would say is just be ready, be prepared, because look, I mean, when you look at this chart here on the 4 hour, there doesn't look like a short opportunity right now on the price action. There is a little bit of divergence, so we could see a pullback, but I think I have to feel, and I think this is one important skill that traders need to learn, is that you have to also feel the market. And I'm not feeling the short right now, but that doesn't mean a long is also a good idea at this level. For me, it's kind of like, I want to let this market show me a bit more. I've got my long-term portfolio I've got my investment in this, and it's not going to do any damage to me if it goes down to 42K. In fact, I'm willing to put in more money into Bitcoin at those levels. So there's nothing really for me to fear. It's just to kind of sit and watch it happen. So I'd either want confirmation that we're going higher, and then we can start to really leverage our trading up and really grow our trading account that we can then put back into the spot. That's the smart way of doing it. So if you caught it at 44, great, off the back of this run, as your partner did, that's a good area to take profit. And now we want to kind of sit and wait and see, what it's going to do next before kind of, jumping back in. But right now you can see it's holding quite nicely.